Deep within the untamed wilderness, a legend has haunted mankind for centuries. A creature of immense size and strength, its presence marked by fleeting glimpses and eerie vocalizations. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, has been the subject of countless stories and myths. For generations, Native American tribes have passed down stories of these elusive beings. They speak of a powerful creature deeply connected to the forest. Modern-day encounters describe a tall, hairy, bipedal creature with an intimidating presence. Footprints, often impossibly large and human-like, have been discovered. The mystery of Bigfoot captivates believers and skeptics alike. It speaks to the unknown depths of our world and the creatures that may lurk just beyond our understanding. Veteran trackers and seasoned adventurers, Mark and Jake had spent years chasing shadows in the wilderness. Driven by an insatiable thirst for the unknown, they were captivated by the legend of Bigfoot. They devoured every book, article, and documentary about the creature, their fascination growing with each passing story. Convinced that Bigfoot was more than just a myth, they dedicated themselves to uncovering the truth. They scoured eyewitness accounts, meticulously plotting sightings on maps, searching for patterns and potential habitats. Their research led them to the dense, uncharted forests of the Pacific Northwest, a region renowned for its Bigfoot lore. Armed with years of wilderness experience, high-tech equipment, and an unwavering determination, Mark and Jake embarked on their most daring expedition yet. They ventured deep into the heart of Bigfoot territory, seeking a face-to-face encounter with the creature that had captivated their imaginations for so long. Little did they know, they were about to get far more than they bargained for. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth as Mark and Jake trekked deeper into the forest. The sun struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows upon the forest floor. They moved with the stealth of seasoned hunters, their senses alert to every snap of a twig and rustle of leaves. Days turned into nights as they relentlessly pursued their quarry. They set up motion-activated cameras, strategically placed near areas of reported Bigfoot activity. They collected footprint casts, analyzing them for any indication that they were on the right track. The forest held its breath, guarding its secrets closely. As the days turned into weeks, their hope began to dwindle. Doubt crept into their minds, whispering that perhaps the creature they sought was nothing more than a figment of imagination. Just when their resolve began to waver, a discovery sent chills down their spines and reignited their determination. It was a set of footprints unlike anything they had ever seen before. Massive in size, they dwarfed any human footprint, yet possessed an eerily familiar shape. The prints were fresh, the indentations deep in the soft earth. Excitement surged through their veins, erasing all traces of doubt. With renewed vigor, they followed the trail, their senses on high alert. The forest seemed to close in around them, the air thick with anticipation. The sun began its descent, casting an eerie glow upon the towering trees. It was then that they heard it, a sound that would forever be etched into their memories. A high-pitched, guttural howl shattered the silence, echoing through the trees. It was a sound that sent shivers down their spines, a primal sound that spoke of immense power and raw, untamed wilderness. Fear, mingled with adrenaline, coursed through their veins. They had stumbled upon something ancient, something beyond their comprehension. Section 5, into the clutches of giants. Before they could react, the forest floor seemed to erupt around them. Two colossal figures emerged from the undergrowth, their massive frames hidden amongst the trees. Towering over 8 feet tall, covered in thick matted hair, they moved with a speed and agility that belied their size. Mark and Jake were instantly knocked to the ground, their equipment sent flying. They struggled against the creature's immense strength, their struggles futile. Fear, cold and paralyzing, gripped them as they realized the gravity of their situation. They were completely at the mercy of these powerful beings. Bound and disoriented, they were carried deeper into the forest. The dense undergrowth made it impossible to determine their direction or their captors' intentions. The creatures moved with a quiet confidence, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground beneath them. The world as they knew it had vanished, replaced by a terrifying new reality. Section 6. Fear in the heart of the forest. The journey seemed to last an eternity. Bound and helpless, Mark and Jake were carried through dense undergrowth, the sounds of the forest their only companions. The creatures moved with an unnerving silence, their massive forms blending seamlessly into the shadows. Fear gnawed at their sanity. What were these creatures' intentions? Were they to be trophies, sacrifices, or something else entirely? The unknown loomed before them, a terrifying abyss of possibilities. The weight of their situation pressed down upon them, heavy and suffocating. As the last vestiges of daylight faded, they were deposited within a secluded clearing. The creatures, their features obscured by the darkness, circled them, their eyes glowing with an eerie intelligence. A sense of dread washed over the hunters, a chilling premonition that their ordeal was far from over. Section 7. A glimpse into their world. As their eyes adjusted to the dim light of the clearing, Mark and Jake realized they were surrounded by several of the creatures. They ranged in size, some towering over 8 feet tall, others smaller, more human-like in their proportions. There were females and juveniles among them, indicating a family unit. The creatures communicated with a series of grunts, growls, and gestures, their language complex and nuanced. Mark and Jake, despite their fear, were struck by the intelligence evident in their interactions. These were not mindless beasts, but sentient beings with their own complex social structure. Over the next few days, they were fed a diet of berries, roots, and occasionally raw meat. They were never harmed, but constantly watched, their every move scrutinized. The creatures seemed to be studying them, their curiosity piqued by these strange beings who had stumbled into their domain. Section 8. The Desperate Plan. As the days turned into weeks, Mark and Jake realized they couldn't wait for rescue. Their captors, while not overtly hostile, showed no signs of releasing them. They were trapped in a prison of their own making, their fate uncertain. Desperation fueled their resolve. They knew they had to escape, to find their way back to civilization. But how could they possibly outsmart creatures with superior strength and an intimate knowledge of the forest? Every rustling leaf, every snapping twig seemed to signal their presence. They began to observe their captors, learning their routines, their patterns of behavior. They noticed that the creatures were particularly vigilant at night, their senses heightened in the darkness. An escape during daylight hours, while risky, seemed to be their only option. Section 9. Escape from the unknown. Taking advantage of a brief moment when their guards were distracted, they made their move. With adrenaline coursing through their veins, they bolted, racing blindly through the undergrowth, their hearts pounding in their chests. The forest became a blur of green and brown as they dodged trees and leaped over fallen logs. Behind them, they could hear the enraged roars of the creatures, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Fear lent speed to their flight, but the creatures were relentless in their pursuit. The sounds of their pursuers echoed through the trees, spurring them onward. They ran until their lungs burned and their legs screamed for mercy. Just when they thought they were done for, they stumbled upon a rushing river. It was a treacherous obstacle, but it offered their only chance of escape. Section 10. Forever Changed. With the roars of the creatures echoing behind them, they plunged into the icy water. The current was swift, threatening to dash them against the rocks, but they pressed on, their will to survive stronger than their fear. They emerged on the opposite bank, battered, bruised, but alive. They spent the next few days making their way back to civilization, their minds still reeling from their ordeal. Their encounter with the Sasquatch family had shaken them to their core, challenging everything they thought they knew about the natural world. They had looked into the eyes of creatures long dismissed as myth and legend, and in those eyes, they had seen intelligence, awareness, and a depth of emotion they could scarcely comprehend. They returned to a world that struggled to comprehend their story, a world quick to dismiss their experience as delusion or fabrication. But they knew the truth. They had been changed by their encounter, forever marked by their journey into the heart of the unknown. Section 11. The quest continues. The debate surrounding Bigfoot's existence rages on. Skeptics dismiss eyewitness accounts as misidentification or hoaxes. Believers find solace in numerous sightings and compelling anecdotes. The cultural significance in folklore and mythology is undeniable. Mark and Jake's story reminds us of mysteries science can't explain. The vast wilderness holds secrets yet to be uncovered, creatures yet to be understood. The legend of Bigfoot endures, a testament to the unknown. The quest for proof continues, fueled by hope. Until then, Bigfoot captivates our imaginations. reminding us of wonders beyond our grasp.